Like and subscribe! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Killer J, back with another video. And today we're going to talk about The Last of Us Part 1. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong video. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil 3 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Is it worth your time? Let's talk about it. So, Resident Evil 3 is one of the newer games that was recently made. They were remaking some of their classic games like Resident Evil 2, and this just happened to be the newest one that they did. And of course, if you guys already know, Resident Evil 4 is on the way, and it's being remade. So really excited for that. So, in Resident Evil 3, similar to Resident Evil 2, you play as some of our classic characters, in this case, Jill Valentine. And your whole goal is to escape and potentially save Raccoon City, with this ginormous asshole chasing you at every step of the way. Nemesis, back in the day on the original PlayStation, was one of the more frightening characters. I'd say he was more frightening than the Tyrant from the original Resident Evil. And they more or less kept with the same thing. They still made Nemesis frightening. But unlike Resident Evil 2 and the Mr. X portions where he chases you all throughout the entire police station, Nemesis doesn't do that. It's a one and done sort of deal. And every other time that you visit and see the Nemesis, unfortunately, they're all scripted. So they're pre-planned. So there's nothing like Resident Evil 2, which was a shame. One of the bigger letdowns of the game. But when he is there, especially the first portion of the game, you really get to see how menacing this asshole is. Ultimately, it's a good experience. If you played the original, but you haven't played the remake, this is definitely worth your time. Now, when it comes to the differences between the PS5 version and the PS4, which is exactly what I played prior, the game itself does look a little bit better. I played with the ray tracing mode on, which the only time I really saw the ray tracing was towards the later end of the game. Unfortunately, there are quite a few bugs in this game. First and foremost, enemies in the distance you're going to see later on in this video seem to run at a different frame rate. There is a portion of the game where I literally killed a zombie and he started floating in midair. I couldn't tell if he was alive or dead. There are quite a few glitches in this game that I don't remember in the original release. But all in all, it's still a fun experience. When you purchase the game, you do get the multiplayer experience, which is subpar. It's a fun little distraction. But the game itself can be beaten in about 5 hours. Now, there are a couple of collectibles that you can get throughout the game, and the more you play it, the more stuff you can obtain. Like, you can obtain infinite ammo for the handgun, or you can purchase a rocket launcher with infinite ammo and play through the entire game with a rocket launcher. So it does have replayability, but not as much as the second game. The second game, Resident Evil 2 Remake, is a masterpiece, whereas this one is good with a caveat. You're not going to want to play through it multiple times because there's no additional playthroughs, nothing like that. But it is really cool to be able to go through the entire police station, at least a good portion of it, rather, when you're playing as Carlos. But there's not a whole lot of the police station, unlike the original game. And the monsters in here, of course, the zombies look menacing. And of course, the hunters, there's the lickers. All the same that you would expect, but they're absolutely terrifying. This is a game that's definitely worth your time. But if you haven't played it, I would play the second one first. And you could purchase it and get it free with a PS5 upgrade. You could purchase the PS4 version. Same goes for Resident Evil 3. If you already own the game, you can actually get the next generation upgrades for free. So definitely worth it if you've already played through, want to play through it again. If you haven't played them, again, play through the second one first, and you're going to get a bigger appreciation for this game. Of course, there are some parts of the game that ties in with the second game, which makes it a fantastic experience. It makes it like one cohesive experience, almost like a sequel to Resident Evil 2. I'd say this is definitely worth your time and worth your money. And as always, if you like what you see, why not subscribe? Show me some love.